universe holds the necessary resources for us to structure our world to our needs. When man begins to tap into the secret of this most miraculous expression of infinite variety, he becomes the creator.
In quantum mechanics, which is the best physics we have a theoretical treatment, a model, if you will, where we model physical reality as occurring in little jumps called quanta. Little changes that are like little bricks of change that jump brick by brick. And big changes are just made up of lots of little brick changes very rapidly. And what we have in quantum mechanics is the fact that we have a certain kind of model called the Schrodinger equation, where all the things that a system might be, how it might be constructed or what kind of shape it might be in, are moving along, and suddenly the system collapses and one of these falls out. And they call that the collapse of the wave function, and this thing that was a probability now suddenly emerges as observable change. If you can go in and manipulate a hidden structure inside the Schrodinger potential that's moving forward, you can decide which one of those, or even change what's available to emerge into physical reality. In plain language, what we have said is this. With the Whittaker approach, the scalar electromagnetic approach, you can go inside physical reality before it's even born, before it turns into physical reality, while it's still in the probability state. And you can engineer the probabilities directly and determine whether or not it shall be born and what shape it shall take when it is born. In other words, for the first time in human history, we can absolutely engineer physical reality itself. Now that is so appalling, the quantum physicist is normally absolutely thunderstruck and cannot bear to look at the face of what it means to be able to deterministically engineer physical reality itself. It destroys the materialism idea for all time. This world is not built like a brick. It's an open system, and it's like a whirlpool in a river. It's stable, but if you change the river, you change the whirlpool. And for the first time, we can now engineer the virtual state, the river, that generates everything. And that's the significance of Sheldrake's work, of David Bohm's work, of the two Whittaker papers, and of my insistence that all of this be put together and put on the lab bench and tested. And I will tell you, it works on the lab bench.
Thomas Bearden says, in science of today, a new concept of reality is involved. However, severe demands are made on the individual to stretch his framework of comprehension. The perception concept is an abstraction that allows the modeling of perception itself, either mental perception or physical detection.
To contemplate that we ourselves could be multidimensional completely expands and explodes our limited recognition of the laws which govern time and space. Because dimensions are not separate from each other. They do not survive only on a continuum that extends out, but they are luminescent, pulsating frequencies of reality that interpenetrate each other. There is a lattice work of the universe, if you will, in which there are pivotal points which overlap in that lattice work, which allow us to penetrate the veil, to move through the windows of dimensions, to bring forth, to draw to us, back and forth, information that is pertinent to our evolution. We have lived before. We can access many bodies, both human bodies and other forms of bodies that can help us in this catapultic leap of consciousness so that we can utilize the universe as it exists for us. Multidimensionality simply means that you are a hologram. You are a holographic being. And that your focus in any one dimension is just a point of reference on that circle, that holographic circle, which is not only on one plane, but on many planes simultaneously. As we identify ourselves as humans on one point of that hologram at this moment, if something were to trigger your multidimensionality, you would recognize that that point of reference on your hologram is available to open you to all the other points of reference that are interplaying with that point, so that you could see that you're much more than you think you are, that you can know what any human has ever known, ever will know. At the Light Institute, we travel along the fibers of the DNA which create our physical vehicle, so that we recognize how it is that generation after generation can and does, in fact, overlap with realities that are going on simultaneous to ourselves. We are of the stars. We can be of the stars and of the earth at the same time, and thereby enrich the experience we're having in these bodies by acknowledging and experiencing multidimensionality.